Yeah, yeah.
Put the cameras on me, yeah, yeah. Put the cameras on me, yeah, yeah. Put the cameras on me, yeah, yeah. I'm coming clutch, no stiction.
Hello, everybody. Live from Koreatown on a nice first day of July. It's the O-ZONE. I'm your host, Omar Miller. I'm here with my brother, Terry Miller, also known as the Icons, as name-checked in our theme song. How you feeling?
Feel great, champ.
Oh, champ. Y'all gonna figure out sooner or later who champ is, champ. We're gonna put something new out for you. You'll see. But wow, man, oh boy, is it going down?
As we sit here,
it's going down. It's been going down since yesterday at 6 p.m. Eastern, champ. And we got so much to cover. We have to cover the NBA free agency is at the top of the list. We have a special guest coming in because he's been calling me. He's on me. He wants to put his 2 cents down.
Chomping at the bit.
And I think that everybody will want to hear what this man has to say. You know him. You love him, ladies and gentlemen. Jaleel White will be our guest today. But we got some other stuff to cover. The Major League Baseball decided to have the very first Major League Baseball game officially played in Europe, and it was played in London, and appropriately so. It's the biggest rivalry in American sports. It was the Yankees versus the Red Sox. It was a bloodbath over there.
Slugfest. They went at it.
But it also was a heat wave, so I have to you still don't get a pass for giving up 17 runs.
Yeah, but I think that they made a mistake with the way that they designed the field.
Perhaps. Hold on. I'm just giving you a rundown right now.
Okay, young.
We got a lot of boxing. We took a week off, and in that time, a lot of guys fought. Both Charlo brothers fought. Demetrius Andrade fought.
Andrade.
See, and I thought it was Andrade, but they kept saying Andrade.
Just like
Android.
Just like Alcantara.
And then we got Joe Parker fought. We got some action between the promoters. Asa De La Hoya and Eddie Hearn got into it. The WBC made a very, very bizarre decision to name Canelo a special champion. And Wimbledon has started, which is very, very interesting because it is upset central, ladies and gentlemen. Wimbledon has started, and they have a top on the court number 1, which is awesome, so that when it rains, that they can continue to play. That wasn't the problem because, like we said, it's a heat wave and it's really nice out. But what was the problem is that it's upset city already.
Who's been upset?
Venus Williams.
Oh, yeah.
Albina Williams just got
15-year-old, right?
And she is good. Okay. Coco Guff. And she looks serious. She's one to watch. I mean, possibly for the next 20 years. That was interesting. Naomi Osaka can't get it together. She lost in straight sets.
Right.
And
you're high on her.
Very. But she's also so young. All the athletes are so young, and you see the composure factor.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think that's mental or the physical?
It's totally mental. I mean, physically, you're at the top of your life.
Wow, at 15?
Between 50, depending on where you are developmentally, between 15 and 28, child.
Okay,
just depends on where you are. But, and then Alex Zverev got dropped.
Wow.
Oh, child. He hasn't been able to pull it together since he won the world championship in London last December, which I got the fortunate opportunity to attend. And he just lost in the first round and looked bad. And something that Alex Zverev and Osaka shared, besides the fact that they're really young, is neither of them played with conviction. If you watch, I was watching this morning. Mm-hmm. Neither of them played confidently. They both played very, they're not sure about their own game.
Now, what time is that coming on our time?
It started this morning, our time, 5, something like that. I think 5 or 6. And, they only play in daylight. So they're 8 hours up from us on the West Coast.
Right.
And unfortunately, I had an incident with my dogs barking at mice or raccoons or something last night, and it was a whole debacle, so I was up in the middle of the night. But did catch a little tennis. Just like taking a match, mate. Hey, why not? Bloody matches on, bloke. So then we did that. And, we'll see who else gets upset. But as of now, the Joker's through. There's a lot of people who are through that, the usual suspects. It's still all good. But, yeah, these young guys and girls, it's so much of it is about the fortitude to be able to dial it in. And this is something that we're seeing across sports, with these young people who can slow the game down and perform at their maximum level, like a Pete Alonso. Mm-hmm. I think he's here. Ladies and gentlemen, the guru has come out. He's ready. Is your microphone hot? It's already hot. Don't touch it. It's already sizzling. Ladies and gentlemen, he threw his glasses down. The man, the myth, the legend, Jaleel White is here.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Oh, woo, champ. The champ is here. What's happening?
What's going on, brother?
Get your phones right. Get your headphones right. Go ahead. Let's get the setup together. The fans don't mind at all.
I know how a housewife feels.
Where are you going with
So on
this?
all of her soap operas and bachelors and bachelorettes and
Because
Love
that's
and
it right
Hip-Hop,
now?
Because when it comes to free agency, that is
You stuck to the. I'm surprised you even made it. I didn't even think you were gonna make it. When they start breaking the news today, I was like, "Oh man, he ain't even gonna make it."
I will roll.
You see what's
down
happening right now?
I will roll down my window at a light and discuss it with a computer.
What just happened?
Are you Jaleel White?
What?
Forget all that.
Please inform me because I know within the time it took for me to park and come up here.
It's going. There's more. It's going down.
Yes.
It's going. Oh man.
What?
Oh, it's going down.
Big.
Let me know.
Woj is saying that the Lake Show is nearing a 4-year agreement with Kawhi Leonard.
Oh yeah.
I'm not pulling you. There's no leg pulling going on.
184 for 4.
The devil lives in Los Angeles.
The devil's a lie, ain't he? So let's speak on it. There's so much
Woj
that happened.
report that?
This is
First of all, one of my the funniest things is I love following people now when they're bubbling. So like when my man Ruiz, what his name? I feel bad. The Mexican guy that knocked
Andy
him out.
Ruiz.
Yeah, okay.
Uh-huh.
Like when he knocked him out, I went straight to the Instagram page and I just saw it start growing.
Growing, right?
Woj has jumped like 400,000 followers.
Really?
In the last 48 hours.
Wow.
He's the source.
Woj has been crowned the only source.
He's the only source.
Wow.
He's the only one that
Like
matters.
there are literally people on other pages saying, "Hey man, you need to go away," because Woj didn't say that.
Woj didn't say it, so we don't believe.
So it's
Now-
hold up, I'm about to go to mine now.
I'm looking at it now. T. Now you said Woj
this
said
is
it. I
on-
don't see it. Where's Woj saying it?
exactly. I don't see it.
Okay.
I don't
hold on a second.
see
Let me
it.
pull him up.
Because there's a lot of fake news.
Don't jump on me.
I'm just going based on what you said.
48 hours ago, he was at 500-something, almost 600,000.
Wow, and I'm looking. He's at 3.5
Twitter.
million on Twitter.
Here we
I'm
go.
looking at it. Where you at, John? No, see that's you got.
you got tricked.
Oh, come
you
on,
got
T.
fake news. You can't do that with these people.
What are you
These
doing?
airwaves are important.
What happened?
See, that's why God
No,
sent
you're not
me
even
here.
on Twitter. That's not on Twitter.
That's a
screenshot.
That is a bogus
You're passing out
screenshot.
fake news. I'm
That's
looking
right.
at Woj's handle right now.
Yes, no.
They're jumping my ears.
Come on, champ.
Woj's last tweet
It's about the Warriors
is about
owner.
the Warriors owner.
What are you doing?
This is
Whoa,
what
let me
blue
look.
checks are for, brother.
It's for all right, folks. So stop the press. But what has happened?
Do you like how I came in
But
here?
what
and
has
said everything
happened?
straight
You
though?
did. I like that.
I can tell you feel a little bad. It's okay. Get Terry a drink. Get Terry a drink.
What should I have?
Get Terry a
What should
drink.
I have?
You should have some of that Hibiki because that's what I want.
Man, I'm here to tell you. So now we're looking at it, and Enes Kanter is out. Enes Kanter is now going to be the Celtics center, and the statement that he gave as to why was he said that the Portland Trail Blazers gave him 6 minutes to decide.
Yes.
And they said, we need you to make a decision. He said, well, I need to call Turkey, so I can't call Turkey directly, so I have to call my brother to then run it by my family. They were like, all right, can you do that now?
Yeah.
And he said he felt pressure, he felt uncomfortable, so he told them no.
Okay.
I want to speak about one thing. I want this conversation to be framed with this one thing. How emotional are NBA players? NBA players come off to me as the most emotional players than any. They should all be actors. These are the most sensitive, emotional dudes in the world because so many people are making decisions literally based on friends or based on people liking them. There's a lot that's to me that I find very fascinating. So, anyways, lay the booty down. And Hassan Whiteside is going to Portland.
Yes.
Which is humongous.
Saw that.
Which to me is enormous.
I think it's terrific.
If the kid is serious, because
They
they
still have
gave,
Nurkic.
Yeah, I agree, but what I'm saying is that they gave that kid money down in Miami, and I was down there. They gave him his big money, and suddenly he decided he only needed to play a good 40% of the time.
Yeah.
If that.
Yeah. So,
But he got in. He got into.
I think first of all, there is a misnomer that everybody over 6'6" loves the game.
Oh,
Right.
preach! That is true.
Okay,
That is
Just
true.
like they assumed that he loved
The mic a
football.
little bit closer.
Exactly.
Yeah, they assume
So-
you can move. You can move
yeah.
the mic.
So I think that plays
Yeah,
into
people
it.
assume that I love football.
There's
'cause I'm
a
big.
particular superstar now who I'm not going to name because I know his assistant.
Okay.
Through a friend, and when your assistant, as an NBA star, feels comfortable saying at an expensive dinner that I'm sure he's going to find a way to expense back to you, feels comfortable saying, no, he's peaked.
It's peaked.
He's not going to get any better. Like, what do you mean? Like, he doesn't even really like going to the gym. Like, he loves partying. He enjoys who he's dating right now. And it's just like, as long as the money keeps flowing.
It's all ancillary.
Yeah, it's like all of this, like.
I have to do this to
Right.
keep my lifestyle framed up the way that I like it.
Exactly. So the LeBrons, the Stephs, the Kawhis, the freaks,
Right.
the guys, the
That
small
really care.
percentage who just happen to be a physical specimen.
And
And they want to study film
Yeah,
and beat
yeah.
you.
They wanna be
And
the best
they want to be
ever.
the best or this, that, and the other. Listen, those guys are rare. We should enjoy them while they're around.
right.
We should not, leave nasty comments on their pages, and that's just stupid.
Right.
But I'm saying those guys give you your bang for your buck.
Right.
And I've seen the NBA hand out $3 billion in the last 48 hours.
You believe that?
And
And we didn't get none of it.
Yeah, we didn't get a dime, brother.
I'm still waiting on her to call my name. I'm looking at Woj every minute like it.
all I can hear is my mama saying in my ear, "They've made their money.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?"
That's a black mama for you there.
And like a true coke addict, I just go back in and do another line. So,
What's my line?
yeah. So yes, I think they're coddled from a young age.
Of course.
I think it's a unique thing to be that tall and that young,
Yes.
and to be that recruited from such a young age.
That then in turn forms, I'm going to support your point here.
Yeah.
I've talked about this for years, which then in turn, you've been the superstar for so long. You're so disassociated with normalcy in almost every way. Almost. Usually there's still one way that you're still tied into normalcy, and that's with your finances until boosters start getting involved and then disassociate you further. And what that does is, and the reason that I've spoken about this for years is, in my 17 years in the entertainment business, 17, 18 years, the cheapest people in the world are professional athletes.
Oh yes.
The only athletes that I would say I would rank that aren't cheap, I would start at the top of the list. I would say baseball players are the most generous. And for a while you could say, well, they had guaranteed contracts. They had the most money. Now basketball players get paid more than anybody because of their participation deal. It's like there is no owner per se. They're part of ownership, and then you go down. Basketball players are super stingy. Football players, forget about it. Julian Edelman still owes me a stack for a bet we made earlier this season, and he was supposed to be coming on the podcast. He felt so confident. We was in the booth together. Matter of fact, you went to the thing for Shaq's restaurant opening.
Yeah.
And then that night, we were watching the game, and he was talking crazy about the Celtics. I said, man, the Celtics ain't even because they beat the Lakers. I said, the Lakers are they're in trouble right now. I said, but y'all ain't gonna beat the Clippers on Monday. Oh yeah? Oh yeah?
Not on Monday.
What you want to bet? I said, what you want to bet? He said, let's make it a G. So I make it a G. Man, the Clippers came out and taxed that ass by about 39 that day.
He Ubered up out of there so fast.
Let me tell you something. My man had committed to coming on the podcast. Low key, he was supposed to be on Ballers this season.
Haven't been blocked
and
on
the
IG
scenes,
yet?
the scenes were supposed to be with me and him. My man pulled out. I mean, over a stack? Come on, bro. You just signed for like $15 million.
That's embarrassing, bro. You got Super Bowls. Like,
It's the MVP.
what are you doing?
What are you doing?
And I hit him talking crazy on.
You should. He should.
I hit him.
Yeah.
I hit him like I might have been the person who started 50s craze because I hit him on Twitter and was like, "Yo, so what's good with that bread?" I got you, Bubba. I got you.
I got you, Bubba.
Never heard from him again.
I got you, Bubba.
So
I don't like the Bubba part.
and so yeah, exactly.
Right.
And so we have to my experience, I got baseball players at the top, most generous, followed by hockey people who I've found are pretty generous, and not because they have a bunch of money, just because it seems like that's how you are as a hockey guy.
Right.
and then football players / basketball players are at a race to the bottom. The most generous that I've been around
very true.
Are race car drivers, to be honest, whether it's Indy or F1. Are you crazy? Everything's always on them. They live that, something to do with the adrenaline, I feel like. Anyways, let's get back on focus. But to continue what you're saying, it's so rare to be that athletic and that young.
That visible, that recognizable. Yes. As soon as you walk into a room as a 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", 6'9" individual, you're automatically a standout.
Regardless.
Then, like you said, you have the entitlement factor, and then you have this participation that has put them almost above any other athlete because, like you said, they don't have owners. They are participants in this thing called the NBA now, where they basically have equity.
They do have equity.
Like,
they have equity.
They have equity. Okay?
Because otherwise, there's no logic on how these numbers make sense.
That's exactly. I mean, you're literally paying $10 million and $15 million per to players. I would not pay $15
to play with at the park. Oh yeah, yes. Sorry,
I'm not going to say certain names.
Say that again. Say that again. I won't interrupt this.
I'm saying the equity split with the players and the owners is so real in the NBA that teams can afford to pay 10 and 15 million per to players that we would not pay $10 and $15 to go see play any given game. That is one hell of a sports phenomenon that I have never seen in my life.
It's crazy.
And I'm not saying, that's why I'm not going to say specific names.
Right.
Because this is not an attack at all.
They need to get their bread.
It's an observation.
Yeah.
But what that does is when you've got a guy who might be number 9 on your roster, number 8 on your roster, might not get any ticks come playoffs. If you even make the playoffs.
And he's still good
and
for
that guy's like,
per.
yo, my value is
12.
Is 12.
And I'm averaging.
Can I get that?
I'm averaging 1 and 1.
Exactly. So that is, I remember having an uncomfortable conversation with Lamar Odom during the lockout. Mm-hmm. And we just randomly passed each other. And I say it was uncomfortable because it was only uncomfortable for me. Because
that's all it has to be uncomfortable with.
Right, because he just kept speaking about we got to get our value. You know, they want to, they don't want to ever give us our value. And I know my value. And he just kept saying value. And now that I fast forward and life has happened.
Right.
And I don't need to talk about him specifically because
no,
it's not an indictment.
No.
It's
not an indictment. Not Jaleel White came on talking crap about Lamar Odom. No.
Right.
But fast forward. Now you see somebody like Boogie Cousins caught up in the middle of all of this.
Sure is.
Hasn't landed anywhere.
Imagine.
And I don't know who's going to sit down and have a spiritual conversation with him about where he is right now in life.
As far as with value?
Yeah, with value.
Yes.
Because right now, his perception of value could threaten his ability to just be a functional man.
Right.
And somebody needs
because it can break you down.
And
because of what we just said. And because he's been special.
That's right.
Since I bet you that since he was 13, he was probably 6'4", 6'5".
And let me tell you where he is for different circumstances, but I want to tell you where he is. He's where Sean Livingston was when he was trying to make a comeback.
Ooh. Yep.
It's true.
Yep.
Now, if you tell that to his ego, like, this fool just called me Sean Livingston.
Are you crazy?
Yes, brother.
Yeah. And now look at Sean.
Sean Livingston was supposed to be the next Penny Hardaway.
He sure was.
And he broke his leg in a spectacular way.
Sure did.
One of the worst sports injuries
ever. And to see how that brother has built back his life.
It's super impressive.
And instead built a career on consistency instead of ginormous 4-year
domination.
Yeah, 4-year payments. Is so admirable.
It is. It is.
But it's not a sexy story for Woj right now. You don't hear about that.
I agree. Right. You hear about it only in the finals when he has a breakout game when he gives you 25 off the bench.
Like I was just as interested when I saw Derrick Rose sign for the Pistons for $15 million too. I said, hey man.
Imagine.
That dude's a fighter.
Sure is. Because he could have quit.
I respect him like a dude who got up off the canvas after getting knocked down twice.
Yeah.
The money has been earned. You on your knees.
Yes.
You can go to sleep and get up off this ring if you want to. And he's still getting back up. And I've heard him say it defiantly, I can hoop.
Yeah.
And
You're
shows-
right.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah,
heard
me
him
too.
say it
Me
to
too.
Friday, like,
Me too.
I ain't listening to these people out here.
Right.
I can hoop.
Whatever you
see
can
that
take
he can
from
go.
me.
And I-
whatever you can take from me, you're not going to take this from me.
And I can just, as somebody who's played the game, loves the game, I live for the game, like, I love hearing that. So I cheer for his 15
he cares.
million.
Yeah.
Just like you cheered for him when he dropped the 50 this season.
Exactly. You cheered for it.
Yeah, it's a crazy comeback. And honestly, not enough has been made, in my opinion, about Derrick Rose and the comparison to Kawhi Leonard. Because if you remember, when Derrick Rose came out and said, I have to think about my future because of my knee, and people blasted him.
Blasted him.
And
Made him up.
I think there was some of exactly what you're talking about, where it moved into his own personal life, his real life.
Oh, yes.
You know, and it, like he went from being beloved to showing up at the spot. Then he had the legal problems. So then he went from being the darling and, you know, the superstar MVP to being, oh, look who's here. Like it went from, oh, look who's here to, oh my God, look who's here.
You know, when you've been around just entertainment as long as I have, you understand that adulation is fragile.
Sure
and the payments though on the league. I remember a player telling me, Jay, the whole league is built on money, hoes, and clothes. That's it.
Wow.
It's money, hoes, and clothes. That's it. Wow. So you live a 365-day existence that's focused on money, hoes, and clothes. That's not going to be the totality of your life.
Right. That's kind of shallow, right?
That's going to be a moment in your life, a grain of sand when you really think about it over the course of, if you're going to live to be 75, 80 or whatever. And so, watching these players sometimes, like I had a problem with Kyrie this year when he really ranted about how miserable it was to play the game. And I was just like, oh, brother.
Don't do it.
Brother, there's somebody cleaning the toilet in the stadium right now. Who
after a bunch of drunk kids vomited all over it.
Right. And that ain't getting no kind of rev share from that arena.
No rev share.
And the most that you have to put up with is some reporters intentionally asking you some annoying questions so that they can get a headline.
And you know what it is.
And you know what it is. So there's got to be a way that you can Charles Barkley this and flip it back on them and just say, hey, we're here for our daily fuckery. Sorry, Can I say that here?
It is.
You know what I'm saying? And keep it moving with grace. There's got to be a way.
Because Kawhi does it.
Kawhi does it. Yeah. Do you realize that Kawhi gives us so little of himself?
And it has protected him.
Yes. That when he decides to give us even a kernel, it becomes a T-shirt.
How about that?
That's his brand, though. You know, you look at him, and
but that's what he's saying is that that's the wisdom of his brand.
Yeah,
he decided for his branding to be that.
He was like, I mean, they literally anything that he says that is just like common sense, because he gives the most hood common sense answers. It's hysterical. Even when they asked him, it was like, what do you think this will mean for the people of Canada if you guys win this? He's like, oh, what you mean? You gotta like talk to a Canadian or like somebody on the street.
Nothing was worse / better than when his boy tried to dap him up before the game. It was like
that way.
The floor is that way.
Game time.
Telling you with every action why I'm here.
I think sure is.
I'm here for me.
And I'm here to.
If you want me to ride on this bus and drink some champagne and have a cigar with y'all, right? I mean, even if you heard him on the stage, he said he was like, "Hey man, y'all enjoy this." Like, like everything was third person.
Everything was outside of me. It was external.
It was like, I gotta win this series so I can maintain my standing to keep this value going for myself. But y'all, I guess, have something else vested in this. So, hey, that's good. You know, hey, have fun with it.
Now, what do you think happened to him in San Antonio?
San Antonio was just a situation where I think a guy went from young man to grown man. And
we grew out of it.
And Pop didn't catch that. And the second he felt sold out publicly.
Yes.
And we'll get to the whole Iguodala thing, because basically what had happened was everything that Iguodala just revealed on the Breakfast Club about diagnoses not being genuine for the media, and the players and organization knows differently that something is a bruise, something is broken when it was purported to be a bruise.
Yep.
Or even when I'm watching on Instagram,
I see my man
Kevin's Achilles jiggle, and you still want to.
No, that's not an Achilles.
And you still want to keep talking to me about calves and knees and elbows.
And you tricked him into it.
You tricked him into it, exactly. That it's like
that was unbelievable.
There is a mind game. I put it this, I remember Penny Hardaway coming back to the crib one day after practice, and he had this little, this cushiony thing.
Like gel?
No, it was like a cushiony cap that they had custom made to put on his big toe. He had an ingrown toenail, and so they made him a cushion cap. They made him like a beanie for his toe. That's what they made. They made him a beanie
so he could play in it
for his toe. And I was like, wow, man. I was like, who makes these? Like, where do you even buy these, right? And he was just like, no, the trainer made that. And he was just like, so the trainer just made that? Yeah, they made a bunch of them. So I just, he had like 4 of them. To
switch them out.
Yeah, to switch them out. And it was like to deal with his ingrown toenail. And I was like, why won't they just make sure that your toenail is right?
Right.
And he's like, Jay, you stupid. You don't even talk to me like that. He said, Jay, you stupid. For the amount of money they pay us, dog. And they'll sew you up however they can and force you
and
back
get you out there.
So I think there's a medical.
Yeah, the football players have long spoken about that publicly.
I think
that's just throughout sports in general.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a medical component to this game.
Right.
That Kawhi finally saw through. Pop didn't have his back until they realized the monster they were now dealing with. Kawhi is like,
you're not going to pressure me.
This man will not be pressured.
Yeah, I will not bend or break.
You know, like you ever play like a game like chess or something, or even Monopoly, anything, and it's like it just takes forever for this other person to move. It's like, move your piece, man. How long is it going to take? No,
till I make the decision.
Kawhi is like, when I make the decision. I mean, look at him right now. I don't think a decision could come from him.
I agree.
I don't even anticipate one this week. I don't.
Well, I think the ball is in his court, literally
and
right now.
he knows that.
Yeah,
the whole league is in his court right now.
Yeah.
And he did it, and he showed his individuality once again by letting everybody make their flurry of moves.
That's right.
What do I need to rush for?
If he stays
in Toronto,
he tips the balance of the entire league.
Sure does.
Right now, I think the best teams in the West are Portland.
Definitely.
Utah
is nice. People sleep.
People are so sleeping on Utah and what they did. Denver. I think the Warriors are a middle of the pack team now. They're right there with OKC's and Houston's. We just got to see injury wise how it plays out and how they round out their benches. So I think all of them are vying for 3, 4, and 5 somewhere in there. Then you've got teams like Dallas that are going to be bringing back Porzingis. Then you've got
Steph Curry just signed with them.
Yep, the $32 million.
Right.
Right. Whoa. Right.
Curry.
Right. So no, 8 per.
Oh, I was saying, wow.
Yeah, sign you up. You in?
That's a man.
Come on, Terry.
8 per.
Giving it out
Then
like
you
that,
So check this out. I'm already down at the top 6 in the West. I haven't even talked about San Antonio, which you
the Lake Show.
New
I haven't
Orleans.
mentioned and then you got the wild card. You got the young boys.
Yo, man, Pelicans are stacked.
They got Derek Favors now.
So
Pelicans are stacked. They got somebody else.
They got the kid Zion. They got
the kids.
They got Derek Favors?
They got Derek Favors. This is what we're trying to tell you.
Whoa.
Down.
We're trying to figure out what's
let me tell you.
But hold on a second, because
I got one more.
I don't want to be too wordy because we have a lot to cover.
Okay.
We need to go over.
Keep us in order. Keep us in order.
we need to go over exactly what happens. All right. So Wesley Matthews is the latest to go. He's heading to the Bucks. Mm-hmm. So now let's just start at the top of the heap from where they were last year. The Warriors were the perennial champs. KD leaves. KD leaves immediately. To me, this is part of that whole sensitivity conversation that I was talking about. You could feel like you were going to punch his ticket from well before any Achilles problem, when Draymond walked up to him on national television and cussed him out.
Well, not only that, though, I just had read earlier that he had already planned with Kyrie to go and play somewhere else next year.
Well, and then Jay has a point that I want to bring into this, which is fantastic about KD himself. And we're going to go off on the sidebar, but here you go. Bang this point out for 1 minute. What you said last night, which was great.
So, dog, KD has had a spy on the Knicks for the entire season. People forgot that DeAndre Jordan was acquired by the Knicks in the Porzingis trade. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you how dumb the Knicks organization is. DeAndre Jordan is literally like best friends with KD. The Knicks proceed to bench DeAndre Jordan and make him zero priority within their organization. And I'm sure after almost every game, DeAndre is giving him a full...
A mole.
A full
Holy moly.
brief of what's occurring here, how things operate.
And now DeAndre's been around the league.
Yeah.
So he knows the difference of how it's supposed to feel, how it's supposed to,
Is Fizz doing this?
Yeah.
What's doing that? Hey, how come y'all don't play that dude more? How come I saw you run that set at the year? Just
Man, it's all
casually,
messed
just
up.
talk, just all messed up. Yeah, man, it's all messed up. Man, listen, even the chips.
We go somewhere else.
Hey, even the chips in the vending machine.
Ain't nothing right.
Yeah, Dolan walking up and down the hallway, his Doritos smelling nice and fresh.
Doritos are fresh,
You know what I'm saying?
man.
Everything.
Stale
Exactly.
tostadas.
I got to hit the side of the machine 2 and 3 times. My candy still ain't come out. Exactly.
They won't give me a refund.
Right? So these are the conversations that Durant and DeAndre Jordan are obviously having. I would love to see their text messages throughout the season.
Right.
Oh my gosh, that's a book.
That's a great point with the mole. So then if we stay there with the Warriors then in turn were dealing with a massive injury situation, which everybody saw unfold in the finals. I would say not as expected because the rumor mill had it that Klay wanted to be out and wanted to be his own man to show that he actually was the man. Perhaps the ACL situation changed that. Perhaps the fact that Kevin Durant left so they can get back to a rhythm of their version of the big three.
Yeah, but his father always
works.
said that he was coming back.
He did, but we also have audio footage, which you can find on Jaleel White's Instagram page, of Kyrie Irving saying that he was going to re-sign with the Celtics that will play shortly. But
don't have me like that. I'm not trying to get blocked.
I'm just saying.
I appreciate your page, Kyrie. I appreciate your page. I appreciate
But that's Pops. Pops was putting it out there. So I don't
This is
think
Kyrie out of his mouth. Yeah. I'm not saying this isn't conjecture. We have audio of him telling the crowd in the garden, "Hey, I'm signing next year."
I think you're not understanding your brother well.
Yeah.
I think your brother is saying that Michael Thompson is more credible speaking about another person than Kyrie speaking about himself.
I understand what he's saying. I'm just saying that it's ridiculous. You can't negate a cat talking about himself as though yeah, but my dad said. No, actually, this came out of my own mouth. So we stay with them. Klay re-signs for $190. Then they pull the proverbial rabbit out of the hat, which I don't think is going to work well, by getting D'Lo. Now you have a theory on that.
I think it's genius.
I do too, and D'Lo's numbers are better than Kyrie's actually.
I'm not saying that they're not. I'm saying that my issue and my theory for Laker Quick, rest in peace, and I agree with him fully, is having stars who do the same thing.
Okay.
I haven't seen it work out.
Okay,
It worked for the Warriors.
Okay, so check this out.
I haven't seen it work for the Warriors.
Yesterday, for the first time, in my opinion, because free agency began at the time that it did, and during a time when people could be so active during the day, not in the middle of the night at midnight.
Yeah.
Okay? It was like a bell rang.
Yep.
And there was a big run in the stock market.
Yep.
And buyers were out there just screaming and this, that. That's why he said 6 minutes. I'm giving you 6 minutes, Enos Cantor, because a bell rang.
Right.
And the stock.
You are on the clock.
You are on the clock and the market is still running. So what happened was, I'm sure Bob Myers found out early on that KD was not coming back.
Right.
So rather than cry in his milk, Bob played it so smart where he said, okay, now I've got all this money.
Right.
That I can work with. NBA players are starting to become chess pieces on a board now. So if you look at somebody like a Kawhi or a LeBron, those are, for lack of a better term, those are the queen,
of the chess table.
Of the chess table. They're the queen on the chess table. Right. You look at somebody like a D'Lo, all of a sudden yesterday, that dude's a bishop or a knight. And so Bob said, listen,
this is what we need.
So meanwhile, and I'm gonna tell you, and I know the Lakers. I know the way they think.
We have a healthy queen.
I know the way they think. The Lakers have been sitting back playing their options, not understanding the market is running so fast.
Right.
By the time you make your decision, that
These guys
person
have already
is
done
gone.
it.
So the Malcolm Brogdons and all the real plugs for their situation,
Yes.
the market was setting those guys' fees at pretty much 20 to 30 million higher than
what
you
the Lakers
thought.
were willing-
I
yeah.
already know.
They
The
didn't
Lakers
read
in
it
their
right.
mind were probably sitting back going, hey, maybe we get D-Lo for 3 years, maybe 73 million, something like that. And D-Lo's agents are like, we already talking to Minnesota and we're already at about $110.
Yeah, exactly.
We trying to figure out how to get to $140. $140.
But the problem with the Lakers is that they like to depend too much on their lure, the Laker lure.
Exactly.
You know,
and you know what? My punk ass school, UCLA, does that crap, still pointing at the old ass banners. So don't get,
Look at the banners.
yeah.
John
So
Wooden's
don't
not
get me
here
started with
anymore.
them dusty banners. All right. So look. So again, what Bob said was, what's his real value? Somebody in my war room tell me his real value to
Right.
people out there in the world. They say, look, it's about
He's hot.
it's about 115 million. It's about 120 somewhere in there.
He's
Boom.
one tier down
I
from the
already
top.
know what he did. He called them fools up and was like, yo, we got your bread.
Right.
Like, what do you mean? We got your bread.
Come play for the organization
Come
that
play for-
everybody speaks
Come play
highly
for the
of.
organization that we know what we're doing. We got your bread. So what that did was it allowed D'Lo to play for a proverbial winner, get his bread. He's going to be traded.
You think so?
Oh, yes. He's going to be traded. But now...
D'Lo, you saying?
Yes, D'Lo. But now when Klay comes back, Klay's really going to have to work to reestablish himself as the two there, even though he got his bread. Because theoretically, because it's cold game, one of them could be traded. But I'm going to say that there's enough equity and loyalty and stuff in the tank for Klay that when he comes back, D'Lo's the one that's going to have to be traded. Draymond's contract is going to be up. So now they've got this giant knight bishop piece on the chessboard that they can trade to another team for real value now to round out their bench. What do you think they're going to get back for D'Lo? It ain't going to be Wes Matthews.
No.
Yeah, no. Not next year. Not
It ain't going to be Hassan Whiteside. You see what I'm saying?
Not at a year where he's going to be playing at a clip where he has a total green light.
Absolutely.
And can do, and
So-
literally can shoot as much as he wants and run it up and down the court.
So as long as he's healthy, all Bob Myers did was acknowledge his value. And he's holding to that chessboard.
Got to move. So
Next.
I think the big winners in free agency are not necessarily so obvious, and it's still not over. So obviously it's still going.
I see where you're going with this. You got a genius mind. Come on.
Me, the big winners in free agency are not the Nets, because literally the only player that we've seen in the NBA history to come back from the Achilles and still be him was Dominique
Wilkins.
It's the only one.
Yeah.
Besides that, I mean, we saw what happened to Boogie this year. And, we've seen it countless times in our collective 100 in some years of watching the NBA.
Yeah.
Guys, it's an Achilles is an injury. It's very difficult to come back at max. And not that you can't come back, but to come back and be max.
I think Kev's got a lot of fight in him, though. So he's going to make it interesting.
I'm not saying that he won't.
I think that he'll come back.
And he's also young.
But he won't be the player that he was.
That's my point.
Yeah.
And also, I have always maintained that Kevin Durant, despite his greatness, needs a lot of help. The most help is what he needs to actually get over the hump, which is why he went and played with the best team in the league, because he couldn't beat him. And then he got all the help that he needed, and so he could shine. In the same way that Lamar Odom needed a lot of help. Lamar Odom should have been he got sixth man of the year, and Phil Jackson was smart enough to recognize that's his value. And then who was the coach after Phil Jackson that won with them?
Oh, I forget.
Yeah. And it was a different
Brown?
coach, right? Was it Phil?
Brown?
Was it Phil that won with them, with Kobe and him and them the last two with Powell?
They only won with Phil.
They only won with Phil. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Phil was the one who figured out, you know what? That's Lamar's problem. He's not the guy, even though he has all the skill set, the attributes.
And I had a very
to be
uncomfortable conversation
a
about value.
and even though he has the skill set and the actual everything to be the guy, he needs some help. And once we get him this help, you watch what he can do. I'm going to put him in a different position. Same thing goes for Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, as a ball player, you can't really prototype a better ball player for this era of basketball. He's long, he's a shooter, he'll dip on you, he actually plays defense, he's got it all. But he didn't have the mental edge to beat guys without all of the guys, even though in my opinion, he had all the guys he needed. That's neither here nor there. My point is, then you go play with another guy who also is pretty much has shown us some mental softness in the same kind of way in Kyrie Irving by saying, I got to get away from LeBron James. Then you get away from LeBron James, you're like, damn, this is really hard. I didn't know that LeBron was actually carrying so much load.
I thought I wanted to be Batman.
I'm actually good with being Robin. So now you're about to have two Robins over there. But the thing that could save them is that DeAndre Jordan is too legit to quit. He's really underrated. People sleep on it.
You sleep on the Nets because the Nets have nucleus there, not just with bringing those guys in, but they have Jared Allen still. They have Rondé Hollis Jefferson.
Yeah.
They have a core.
I'm not sleep because I recognize how
I get what you're saying.
How corrosive that these kind of egos and guys are in locker rooms. It's the same. The Celtics were the best team in the East.
But I'm telling you that they colluded to get together like this.
Oh, I get it.
So
It doesn't matter.
I don't think that down the line now you're going to. All say we're going to get together and play. Then all of a sudden, you know what, man? Jeez, I think he's a cancer.
What are you talking about? It happened with the Lakers. It's happened with several. It just happened with the Warriors. We just watched it happen with the Warriors. Now they got hurt. But
those guys weren't boys like that. Kevin Durant wasn't like their boy.
Okay, the time will tell.
We got to stay on topic. Stay on topic.
Yeah, my point is that they're not those guys. There's going to be a lot of finessing that needs to happen, and you need guys to come back at full strength from the injury. So there's that. To me, the winners were the 76ers. The winners are the Jazz, and the winners are the Portland Trailblazers.
Yep.
Now who did the Jazz pick up?
There you go.
The Jazz picked up Mike Conley, which was the first guy to sign for this $30 million deal.
You're always high on Mike Conley.
And that's because Mike Conley, his value has never really been shown, not because of him. His value, he's as good as any point guard.
Yes, he is.
He's as good as any point guard.
We're about to find out, Playboy.
We're about to find out. Now we're about to find out.
We're about to
find out. We're going to get on a play. We're going to go to Utah.
We're going
to get some warm coats. We're going to get some mittens, and we're going to go to Utah.
You
going to see. You going to see, bro.
Because
I don't believe it.
Because I hear you. But and I do. And Mike's numbers are legit. And
where do they finish this year, in your opinion?
They'll probably make the playoffs, but everybody makes the playoffs.
Did you say probably make the playoffs? Give me a number. You know 8 teams make the playoffs. Give me a number.
7.
Oh, the disrespect.
It's real. I actually like Utah.
7.
I like Utah more than I like Denver. And
really?
Me personally.
Are you kidding?
They got Rudy Gobert, which is a legit big man.
He's a legit, but look at Denver's big man. Denver's big man is the truth.
I'm not saying that he's not.
Go position for position. Come on, Denver and Utah.
Who's better than Donovan Mitchell?
Hold on. I think that Mike Conley is going to make Donovan Mitchell what he is supposed to be.
I agree.
That's what you're not paying attention to.
And
Mike Conley is like, young fella, you about to fly.
Watch this.
You about to fly.
Where I hit you.
You guys are caught in the good old days. Mike Conley is finished.
What? Wait. Okay, wait.
Okay, jeez.
Was there drinking before I arrived?
Just by one of us.
Because I see the Hibiki is low.
Just by one of us. So that's my take. I like Utah. Portland, to me, for one, they did the right thing and they super maxed out Dame Dollar. Dame has shown that he's one of those guys that does care to be the best.
Exactly.
CJ ain't far behind him.
Nope. They kept Rodney Hood.
They kept Ace Hood. Now what you gonna do, dog? Ace Hood on the scene.
Please don't.
So they kept Rodney Hood. Now they lost Myers Leonard, but they got
and
arguably the best big man in the game when he's actually serious.
But we can't see
that. I agree.
Listen, what I like about that acquisition, I like
Hassan Whiteside.
And Hassan Whiteside, I like it for a different reason than you.
Okay.
I like it because he's got 1 year
to prove
himself because the contract expires.
And then it's time for him. Which I've learned about, if you can count on anything like the sun coming up in Los Angeles, you can count on professional athletes showing out on a contract year.
There you go.
That's what you get. Now, that's not to say that once he gets his cheese, he might go play again.
Exactly.
Or he might be sore again. I might need the load management.
So bottom line is, whatever Hassan Whiteside is, Portland's about to get the best
the max
of it.
version of that. Yes. So I like that. But the Sixers are loaded. The Sixers are stacked.
What are they past the first 5? They got Josh, they got Ben, they got Embiid, they got Horford, they got who's the
Simmons.
They got and Simmons. So what are they past 5?
And they got rid of Josh Reddick. JJ Redick.
JJ Redick.
Josh Reddick too. I mean, he played baseball, so we didn't need him.
Okay, so who are their first 3 off the bench though?
They haven't got it together.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But this is the team still aren't rounded out. I'm looking at front 5 right now.
I'm not sold.
I'm not sold.
And they got Tobias Harris.
Oh, what about the coach?
Oh, they got Tobias Harris, so that's 6.
They re-signed Tobias.
What about the coach? You've been screaming about the coach forever.
The coach will find a way to lose.
Okay, then. They ain't no good.
But Brett Brown will find a way to lose. But very D'Antoni-esque. But this team, and with the last 2 years of development of Embiid and Simmons, I'm one of those guys that thinks Joel Embiid gets hurt a lot, and he's just because he's a giant.
Just a giant.
Well, what I'm saying is that he's one of those guys that you have to maximize this window because he is the best big man in the game currently. Not when, if, maybe he's it, and because he can give it to you however you want it. And the problem is they constantly want to go away from riding Joel Embiid. Then Joel Embiid messes around and says, "Oh, my knee is sore." It's funny how his knee always gets sore when somebody else gets more shots. It's just an observation that I've had.
Wow.
It's just an observation. That's all. Now,
don't at me.
I'm just saying. Now, Terry brought up a good point. And I want you to say what you said off air, which is what it says about Jimmy Butler going to South Beach and taking his talents to the Miami Heat.
I'm not going to let you beat him up for that, but go ahead.
I'm not beating him up for that. I'm saying.
I know.
No, listen what he had to say.
Oh, okay.
Jimmy Butler he wants to play against the competition. He does not want to join the teams.
He doesn't want to join the super team.
He doesn't want to join the super teams. He wants to prove that he can beat the super teams. He has that
sort of a will, like a Kawhi.
Yeah, he's a throwback type player that I don't, just like something that he always talks about Kevin Durant doing, which is joining the Golden State Warriors. It wasn't necessary. The Golden State, everybody's acting like the Golden State Warriors, they're going to be so bad without Kevin Durant.
Right.
They won without Kevin Durant.
They were actually low-key, in my opinion, possibly better that that first year, the first 2 years where they split with LeBron, they were better.
Yeah.
You put Harrison Barnes back on that team and you put that team back together, man, that team is a problem.
Now, Jimmy Butler could have went anywhere.
Literally.
And he decided to go to Miami. And that's not just a party.
Has anybody ever noticed that when you take a free agent meeting with Pat Riley,
you will sign.
Nobody leaves the state without signing.
Right?
Anybody notice that?
Him and your man from the Clippers.
Jerry West.
Yeah, Jerry West.
The logo.
That's
him
why,
and the logo.
That's why Durant didn't even get on the plane.
Don't even meet with them. I'm going straight to New York.
Right? So
that's a great point. Wow.
I think it was a little deeper than that. I think Jimmy's tired of playing with these millennials.
No question.
Because they just don't embody the work ethic that has the
old school mentality
that has made him
one of the best in the game.
It's made him who he is, the way he goes about it,
and also the fact that he was the least coddled of this coddled group that we're talking about.
There you go. So
he would actually, you could even argue that he was the least coddled with the most upside because they constantly treated him like a stepchild everywhere.
So he finally has a front office man
that's like, I get it.
You go play ball.
I'll help you out.
I'm gonna deal with that other stuff.
Right.
I'm going to get you.
And let me I'm
gonna get you these guys. And you know what the first thing I'm gonna do?
I'm gonna get rid of Hassan Whiteside.
I'm getting rid of because I can tell you right now, you may not know this about him, but you don't want to play with him.
Yeah, exactly.
Trust me. You don't want to play.
Like he did it on the same day.
Did it on the same day.
I'm gonna get the dude out of the locker room that I know you go fight with the most.
Yep, get out of there. And you know what I'm going to get you? I'm going to get you an ice-cold shooter and a big guy who can rebound in Myers Leonard. And I'm going to give you some help. I'm going to get you a defensive specialist who likes to lock down like you like to lock down.
Yeah.
Hey, and let's not sleep on them no taxes down there in that good
that is, come on, man.
Come on, man.
It
is still South Beach.
Don't sleep on that.
You know what I'm saying?
Can't ever sleep on that.
You taking recruiting meetings in South Beach.
Yeah.
All right.
Life is good.
Life is good.
And you got $1.90.
Woo!
That's $1.90 that you got state free. State tax free for 41 of those games.
I mean, I just think it's a little, I agree with you, Terry. I think he likes to compete. But I just think that there were some other factors now that he's been with 2 other organizations and I know the feeling where you're like, man, listen, I just want to show up, hit my mark, say my lines, eat my bagel, and sign out.
Right.
I don't want to produce your movie for you. I don't want to direct it. I don't want to have to question why are you even bothering with this shot because you're not going to use it.
Never use it.
I don't I don't want to do any of that.
Right.
Anytime I get into an environment where all of that is taken care of for me, I am so appreciative, and my bagel tastes so good with that cream cheese.
And that's what Pat Riley has for you.
And that's what Pat Riley has.
He's got lots of bagels for you.
He's got lots of bagels for you. So I just need you to be healthy. Pat Riley is a fitness guru when it comes to that. He likes his guys to be in tip-top shape.
Yep. He wants to run.
So Jimmy ain't going to have to yell at everybody.
No.
It's about, well, why are you not running?
Right.
No.
Pat's like, no.
Wait.
You just do you.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
There really is power, man, I'm telling you, in just staying in your lane. And I keep talking about that even as I get older.
Great
I'm
point.
like, it's a beautiful thing to be able to stay in your lane. I even think that's one of the reasons why Magic left. Now we're starting to realize it was like, Magic really was just like, look, I can't operate with all these silly rules. I got to be able to call people and text people and put my magicness on them as I need to.
Smooth it all over.
You ready to ball?
Yeah.
I done put the magic on you.
You know what I'm saying?
But I'm ready to throw up another banner.
You think about it for a second. The Lakers weren't even all everybody's been talking about for the whole season is Clippers. Magic done nudge these dudes out the way, and he about to get his next Starbucks deal on without actually being in the Staples Center building.
With being taking meetings at Chavez Ravine.
I had transcripts of the conversation he reportedly had with Uncle Dennis, Kawhi's dude.
Oh, really?
And the questions were very sharp. Like, they were asking him, like, they were asking Magic hard questions. Like, yo, was there dysfunction going on, whatever? He's like, oh, yeah, I called him a backstabber. But that's in the past, and we want the Lakers to win a championship.
Together.
Yeah.
Like, when you can answer that pointedly, like, yes, that's what I said, but we about this winning.
We about this done.
All of a sudden, I'm telling you, every day that lapses, that Kawhi hasn't made his decision, to me is a good day in favor for the Lakers.
If he takes the meeting with the Clippers, he is going to sign with the Clippers. That's
the logo.
That's Jerry West over there.
I agree, but is there any proof that he's going to take it? Does anybody know is he going to take
He's
it?
supposed to be taking it.
He's supposed to be taking it.
he was supposed to be taking that before he took the Lakers meeting.
Those are the two meetings that are supposed to be confirmed.
He won't come back to the house.
He won't get to the crib.
I'm going to tell you something. Let me tell you something.
And he doesn't want to. I don't believe that he wants to play under LeBron James.
I would love to see.
I agree.
And
I'm going to be
that he
real.
would take the Clippers to the next level.
Look,
the Clippers were almost there.
Awesome hood shit.
What you on?
I would love to see him play with Lou Will.
Oh, come on, man.
Because Lou Will,
And that young center they have.
Lou Will is that dude.
Patrick Beverly, who just re-signed, is a dog.
So Lou Will is that dude.
He is.
Who that I don't know if it's because of the shape of his head or what, but they just won't let him be a superstar. And
Yeah,
his
they
numbers,
won't do it. His numbers
are
are-
superstar level.
Off the bench.
Off the bench.
Off the bench.
He
Off
got-
the bench.
His numbers are top with
got
everybody
buckets.
in the league.
And he had buckets on the Lakers, on Houston, and then on the Clippers.
So if
he
you
got buckets.
If you think Kyle Lowry could get paid next to Kawhi Leonard, oh Lord.
Yeah, right?
Oh Lord.
And they got Zubac.
Yeah.
They have size. They got a lot.
Doug
Alexander, they have a bunch of young
They got
kids
a
that are ready
lot
to
to
go.
offer, and Jerry West will make all those points. Now, the other team that I think that won that we haven't mentioned yet, we're way over budget.
We good?
But the other team that I feel like won that we haven't talked about much are the Indiana Pacers.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
Wow.
That Brogdon move,
nice.
stealing him, that hurt the Bucks too.
Hurt the Bucks.
Hurt the
The
Bucks.
Bucks haven't done anything. They just signed Wesley.
They just re-signed.
That's nothing.
They just
I actually think, unfortunately, they took a little small step back.
No question. Because
they
now,
had a nice team.
Yeah, but now you're putting a freak behind the 8 ball because he literally has to carry the whole team.
They re-signed Brooke. They re-signed Lopez, and they got Matthews, and they got rid of
The only way they
got Middleton.
The only way they do the same is if Freak literally comes back with range like we just haven't seen. And I watched him up close in the playoffs this year play Toronto, and that was the difference. The difference was as long as he is, he is an amazing specimen on the court. As long as he is, there's no pull-up in his arsenal.
Right. And I'm sure he's working on it.
No, don't say it at all because he started shooting threes at the end of that series and he hit it.
But he's talking about mid-range.
I know what you're talking about. But he started,
I know
you saw him start taking shots.
He's behind the 8 ball. But let's keep moving. But the Pacers.
The Pacers look nice.
Now, when Oladipo come back, they're a playoff team. They're easily
Miles Turner.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you this.
6.
I'm gonna tell you this. To me, the Pacers finish higher than the Sixers this year.
Wow, possible.
Maybe
Victor Oladipo gets the job done, and I think that may come down to coaching. And I don't believe in the Sixers coach, But Josh, they
Pacers
did
finished
Josh
higher
Richards,
than
by
the
the way.
Sixers. Yep.
That's what we didn't talk about. That's who else they got.
Yeah, that's what I got.
And then the other team that, in my opinion, reloaded through subtraction, who maybe has the best coach in the league outside of Pop, is the Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
Kemba Walker is real. Yeah. And Gordon Hayward is going to be back to Gordon Hayward this year, in my opinion. Yeah. Now, they lost by getting rid of Terry Rozier, but you had a feeling he was going to go when he came out with that same mentality that was like, hey, you know what? I shouldn't be playing behind anybody.
I don't blame him either.
And I don't blame him because he lights it up. Yeah. And they got him out of there.
I mean, listen.
I think the Celtics took a step back.
Yeah, losing Horford is enormous.
And losing Kyrie, and now you lost Rozier.
But my problem is that clearly there was dysfunction amongst the group.
Yeah. I think they fixed the dysfunction.
And that can take you a long ways when you have a great coach.
Right. So now
Tatum can step up and be who he's supposed to be. Kemba can just keep being the Kemba that he's been in Charlotte the last, 6-7 years, however long it's been, where he's been wasting his time down there and getting paid.
But you always have to kind of respect the mentality also of, I didn't get this far in my career by playing behind somebody.
And I've always felt I've never understood why players get criticized for making the obvious statement that got them to the league.
Right.
I'm the stud. Yeah. I'm the coddled player.
Yeah. Every one of these guys in the NBA was a BMOC, big man on campus, wherever they came from. Mm-hmm. So that's what I meant when I said sometimes, that's why I was going back to even just for a hot second, the Boogie Cousins situation is that life sometimes will take you out of the BMOC lane.
Yeah,
and you just have to figure it out. Yeah, you put you in a humble pie lane. And it doesn't mean that you can't be a big deal again. It just means
in
that
a different capacity.
You got to do it in a different capacity.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
That's
very well said. Terry.
Yeah, both of you guys would frame that up well. Yeah. So, and the clearest losers of all are the Knicks. I mean, we don't even. Now say what you were going to say. Say what you were going to say about it off air that you said about Dolan.
Oh well, actually, breaking news. The Knicks just signed Tyrone Hill's cousin,
Tyreek Hill,
Latrell Hill, for 3 years.
How much they give him?
$98 million.
98. I've been waiting on Dolan to give me a call. So, my leg is crooked, but I can give you a half-court game.
Listen, when Dolan carted Oakley out of the building last year, this is the most socially conscious league out of all the leagues. I think that was an embarrassing situation. Again, who is texting Kevin Durant the entire time while it's happening? DeAndre Jordan. Yeah, dog, they really hog-tied him. They dragged him up out the joint. And I really feel like good business in America will ultimately always benefit a bad person.
Man, that's ice cold.
And the sad reality is James Dolan's energy is hurting the Knicks. And I don't know him well enough as a person to speak beyond the walls of MSG, but within the walls of MSG, some of the actions have just been deplorable,
questionable,
and the players now again being equity participants and not just employees, okay, now have the right to say, I don't care about your building. I'm going down the street. And I think, and I'm
down the street,
and you can't, and by me coming and saying this man to man, I still don't lose.
Yeah, exactly. So
the chips are the chips. If I'm a max guy, I'm a max guy.
So now Dolan is in this wonderful seat where pretty much an entire state wants him to sell his team. But because it's the biggest market in the world, he's basically able to say, well, find me a Chinese guy who wants to give me $6 billion and maybe I'll think about it. So once again, good business stands to always benefit a bad person in America. And I don't see the Knicks coming out of this hole anytime soon.
No.
And
How could they?
And it's because the players are like, look, I think it's deeper than that. I think Durant really wanted to play there.
It's like the players now have a collusion against the owner.
Yes. They have a collusion. Wow. Yes. And that's what it is.
In comparison to the other way around.
It's the other way around. It's like, we don't have to play there to get our money.
And we also don't have to play for the Knicks to have the experience of playing in New York.
No, you don't.
I can play down the street.
We got social media now, dog.
Yeah, I'm good.
Brooklyn ain't no different than MSG. I mean, I like the whole history of the building.
Right.
thing,
But guess what? I'll
it's
make a
just
whole
a
new
building.
history.
Yeah, we'll make new history.
We'll make new history.
I think
And they all deified Jay-Z, so now they can also even then feel like they're making history as a part of that.
the team that I'm scared for, though, legitimately scared for, are the Lakers.
Really?
If things go the wrong way,
Because Kawhi Leonard holds their future in the
I don't believe it.
I feel like
I
we
don't believe
really are underestimating how good LeBron James is.
Yeah, right? And
No.
I've heard a lot
No.
of people say that too. Like,
And
a lot of people-
it has gotten Anthony
I'm
Davis.
not-
I just feel like it's an embarrassment of riches when you put all three of them together. I feel like it literally hurts the league.
There's
with all
no
these
one
crazy
left.
everything.
The stock market ran up.
But you don't
They're
need.
gone.
You don't need all of. They have talent on that team. Even though they got rid of a lot of talent, they still have a
Give
lot.
me
of,
6 players that can get you to the middle of the pack in the Western Conference for the Lakers right now. Just 6.
Well, first of all,
You got LeBron, AD, and Kuzma. Keep going.
that's pretty much LeBron has carried the Cleveland Cavaliers for the past few years. So
Stop
that's all
it.
he needs.
LeBron, AD, and Kuzma. Give me 6 players. Just 6.
I don't. This is what I'm telling you. You don't even literally need 6 players. You want
just
6.
traded the entire roster, so that's hard to. I don't even know if they got 6 guys under contract. To
And
be honest,
the reason why I say scared for as opposed to rooting against, I didn't say that. I said scared for is when you put all your eggs in so few baskets. You saw it last year. I had a friend call me up last year. It was like, Jay, I got the court for you for $2,000 if you want it. I was like, what? What are you? Yeah, no, they playing the Knicks. And then all of a sudden I realized, I was like, is LeBron playing tonight? No, he's out. One man affected ticket prices so bad
Yes.
that all of a sudden 10 grand on the court became 2,000 on the court when playing the worst team in the league. That is too much dependency on a guy that age. That's all I'm
It
saying.
is too much dependency, but it is the truth. He
But-
carries that weight. Look what he did to the NBA Finals. What was it down? 20-something%?
But can you get to June and everybody's healthy enough to compete? I watched even Kawhi up close, bruh, and his body was breaking down.
No question. But LeBron James we have seen that he doesn't break down like that. Eventually, he's going to break down. But we've seen him get hurt one time in the last how many years?
20 years.
Come on, man. I mean,
15 years.
The guy pays special attention to his body.
I think he's an amazing physical specimen, brain, and phenomenon. I just don't think over the next 2 years you're going to see 70 games each season from LeBron James. I don't think.
Nor should you. I don't feel like he should play 70 games.
All right, keeping it moving along those same lines, because we got some other stuff to cover, but along those same lines, do you believe that the NBA has usurped the NFL in overall interest because literally the season just ended
And it
now
just
this
started.
and it just started. They have followed the NFL's playbook, but tightened it because there's less participants. The basketball has the least amount of participants in all of professional sports.
Right.
There's less, you know what I mean? There's less players in the league than any other league, which is why the numbers are so, exorbitant. But do you think they've done that? Do you think they've passed the NFL in that sense? Because now, literally, this is all anybody is talking about. We don't even really cover that much basketball.
I do. I think that they have, and for good reason too. First of all, the marketing just never stops. You're
It never
constantly
stops.
being bombarded with information from the NBA.
Yeah.
And the information that not to cut you off, but the information that we get from the NFL is always negative.
Ooh. You know
Baller
what?
season 5 coming out late August, maybe early September.
You know what's interesting though about
Positive for us.
the interesting about the NFL and the NBA is their core consumer is different. So the NFL is built on blue collar cities. Pittsburgh, Green Bay,
Yep.
even New York, the Jersey guy. And it's because of that, the NFL is forced almost to be more conservative in its views, to cater to the guy who wants to go to the game and own season tickets and tailgate and talk about the game from Sunday to Sunday. And so the NFL doesn't have the luxury because of its core fan to be as socially conscious as the NBA will be. Because again, these brothers now are equity participants in a $1 billion business. And it's different. Do you understand? So an NFL star does not carry the same weight with his ownership that an NBA star does.
Well, and I also get the feel that the NFL has that plantation type mentality too.
Yeah,
because of the consumer.
That's a good point. And you even hear how now they want to outlaw the term owner in the NBA. They don't even want to use that.
They're not even going to have that discussion in the NFL because of the consumer. Listen, I have my girlfriend has a client. He's an older gentleman, very nice guy, but he is the dream NFL client. Mm-hmm. And I actually watch him watching games. Right. And I'm fascinated watching him just as much as I am watching the game. He's got his jersey. He will find a way to let you see his seats that he has in the new stadium that's coming. He just works it into the conversation. Oh, these are my 4. And they tell me I can get these 2 also eventually, if I'm, tenured in for this long and blah, 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 blah. He has tailgates. He rents out entire back rooms for, playoff runs.
He's a one-man economy for the NFL. He is a
one-man, like this is the guy. And I mean, he builds every Sunday. And guess what? His wife's on board.
Right.
Get the daughters. Right. Get the friends. We're all going to the stadium. Right. Okay. I have different concerns. Omar has different concerns. Right. I love going to a game. But there are times where I look at the Coliseum and I say,
I'm good.
Yeah. Nah, I'm cool.
I turn into the bougiest Negro you have ever seen looking at the Coliseum. How is this illegal that they're allowed to play in such a dump like this? Okay. And this guy is patiently pouring money into the Coliseum with anticipation to give them more money and go sit in another stadium.
For the 8th wonder.
So this is the NFL has so much data on this man and what he likes to hear. And what he likes to hear.
Watch.
And this guy, I can say, really prefers if you just stand for the national anthem and we get our flyover. And you go out there and play as hard as you can. And it doesn't mean that he doesn't care, because I know this guy. It doesn't mean that he doesn't care about police brutality. But what this guy is saying is, I gave you so much money to escape my problems today. Can you please not do that here? And listen, that is a much deeper debate than for this podcast.
Yes.
But that is their core consumer. And their core consumer says, you're going to talk about that outside this stadium. Today,
this is our religion.
I own you.
This is the most, no, seriously, today, this is more American than apple pie. And I want and I know how I like my apple pie.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's ridiculous.
Wow. That's a good point. All right, moving on. You're going to have to sit through a little bit of non-basketball talk, although the basketball talk was fantastic.
Hey man, listen, this was better than therapy, dog. I will never pay $200 an hour to a small Jewish woman to get my problems when I can come here.
And spin it.
And let me tell you something. You keep an eye on that, on the breaking news, because we just got to cover the rest of our stuff real quick. It's been a crazy week. One thing that I saw, speaking of the NFL, that I really liked was they brought back the NFL's Fastest Man. But they rebranded it. And our boy Irie was the DJ.
What? Where was it? I
was. It was in Florida. The 40-yard dash.
No, 40 yards of gold.
40 yards of gold. Okay.
Because
who won?
Give Mark. You want me to go? Marquise Goodwin from San Francisco.
Oh man! You know what? People don't even know how
awesome that used to be.
Those guys run for game checks just.
Man, people have no idea how much these guys against each other.
When Terrell Owens arrived at the Philadelphia Eagles. And Terrell walks like a horse from the Kentucky Derby. Yeah. When he comes in the room, it's like, oh, okay. And he apparently wasn't there 10 minutes before he said, who thinks they're the fastest person on this team? And everybody started pointing to some third string receiver. I don't want no smoke.
You want no smoke,
I want no smoke. But again, they start to chirping, and Terrell was like, when you ready, see me. And apparently that was day one. And again, everybody bet on the brother, on the other dude, because they're like, no, we've seen it.
Yeah.
But up against Terrell Owens, and with that spotlight on, and having some dude call him out to the flagpole at that moment,
he turned it on.
He lost, and Terrell won. So that is still
along those lines, they used to have the NFL's fastest man down in the desert, and it was awesome. And it was always Darryl Green.
It was
It was always Darryl. I don't care who he raced.
28 Washington Redskins.
40-year-old Darryl Green hawked. I can't remember who it was. He hawked
somebody with burners.
Who did he beat though? Was anybody close to Marquise though?
It was always. Yeah. So with Marquise, I thought you were talking about Darryl Green. So he beat Dante Jackson. So it was really cool the way that they set it up. They had an offensive side bracket and a defensive side bracket. I like that. Me too. And he ran through the offensive side of the bracket, defeating the Arizona Cardinals receiver, Demir Bird, the Falcons receiver, Christian Blake, and the Broncos running back, Khalfani Muhammad to reach the final. Now, Goodwin was supposed to race against Kevin Snead, who was a former D2 All-American sprinter, but he got disqualified for a pair of false starts. And that guy probably had the best chance of beating him. Because Marquise.
False start is real, dog.
Yeah. And I like the fact that they're like, hey, 2 times, it's out.
Hey, listen, in the Olympics, they don't play.
That's it. What?
All your dreams shot. They do it. They
shoot up in there and shoot you.
Oh, your
dude,
shot.
that's false start. That's the last one I told you.
I can't run now. I've seen those tiers of disqualification before.
Yeah, right. Real.
But Goodwin was a track star in college.
Yeah, but hopefully next year they'll have better or more participants because
they will because he won
in Cincinnati. He's supposed to be the fastest kid
$1 million.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that Ross wasn't in it because
Marquise won $1 million.
Yes. He won $1 million.
Oh yes, let's get this popping. Let's get this popping.
Sound like you stretching over there.
Yeah.
You know what?
Robbie Anderson from the Jets actually beat Alvin Kamara in the first round, but then he didn't continue for some reason. Yeah, and Jackson beat the corners, Trey Waynes, Jalen Merrick, and John Franklin III. And literally, he beat John Franklin III by 0.01 seconds in the semi.
Wow.
Them boys out there blazing.
They blazed.
And it was a pay-per-view event.
What was the times?
I don't know.
No wonder I didn't see it. It wasn't free.
No, it wasn't free. It wasn't free.
You said you were bougie, though.
Let's see.
I would have got it, though.
But back in 2013, he ran a 4.27 at the combine.
Woo!
That was in 2013.
He got smoked, y'all.
He got smoked. Let's listen to it, y'all. Y'all want to listen to it? Let's listen to it, y'all. Oh, them boys. Come check it out. Hey, I'll spin it.
I got to see that. Come on, you can't just watch the screen by yourself. Oh, I like the setup, too. Oh, wait. Oh, let's get it.
That cat is fast because he stumbled out the block.
I think it might have been the hair.
I don't think the hair helped him. Watch him stumble. Skirt. See that? He had a little misstep.
That's that torque, though.
It's that torque. And let me tell you something. If y'all took that longer, he would have got walked.
Yeah.
Because he started to turn it on. If that was 60,
60
make you tell the truth.
Shame the devil.
Do you understand how moist them ladies got up in there watching them brothers?
No, I don't understand, but it sounds like you.
Sounds like you do.
Hey, man, look, I got some speed on me, man.
Oh, we saw it.
He got the burner.
He got some smoke, y'all.
What?
So when we did the Lexus 0 to 60 challenge where we did the driving up in Monterey, right? And Carmelita Jeter, who was the fastest woman on the planet, Olympic gold medalist from Gardena, literally Jaleel caught her off guard and out of nowhere was like, "Oh, what's up? You talking about how fast you are? Let's go." We're all in race suits and everything. Now, she wasn't loose and she wasn't in her shoes.
I wasn't looking.
Hold on a second. But clearly, she underestimated Jay because she thought that she's like, "Let me walk this fool real quick." And they went out there. The video, you can look at the video on his Instagram.
Listen, let me tell you
something. On Lexus 0 to 60, it's on YouTube. You can watch it. And Jay beat her. He beat her and then another cat who actually won our competition. He had burners too.
Hey,
Curtis Hamilton, and he's Mookie Betts' cousin.
Really?
Crazy burners. Listen,
they got burners like that?
Listen, my suspenders have gotten me athletically disrespected my entire life. All right? That's my only...
We gonna show it to you. We'll show it to you.
That's my only regret in what I've done in my acting career is that somehow, simply because I played that character,
They want to act like you can't do nothing else. They want to act like you're in real life. You walk around.
Yeah,
like
my coffee not as black. Like somehow.
Well put.
Right?
Well put.
So it's
well put.
So rather than be negative about it, for me, it's fun. I've always played basketball or whatever. Even if I pull up, I heard Jesus and Meryl, those dudes or whatever, said something about me. Ice Cube showed me some love apparently for the old E-League game.
Oh yeah.
And Jesus and Meryl was like, "Oh, did I 3 that?" And they said some old corny stuff like that, right? Right? And I'm just laughing because I'm like, even at 42, I'm looking at these two stumps over here on this show, and I'll say it out loud. Somebody can let them hear it. Okay. I'll see you two fat boys anywhere you want, and we can get our hoop on. What's good? What's good?
That's gonna have to be the clip we put up, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you mark that and cut that because Jay still got work for y'all
and the burners.
Listen, I don't play as often as I used to.
You don't have to. Don't
I
like
don't.
it.
But when I see them two stumps,
you're ready.
And it's like, but they had the cliche attitude, and I say it in play. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying in competition.
Right. Yep.
But when I'm looking at it, I'm like, yo, it cracks me up in New York how you get the most unathletic dude, but with the New York bro. That's like, oh, you're not gonna let him do that to you. It's like, hey man, he don't have a choice. It's getting done to him. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
give it to him.
It's like I love my man Shaquem who represents Latifah.
Latifah, yeah.
He invited
Flavor
me.
unit.
He invited me out to play ball when I was younger, and I love Shaquem. Shaquem's a great dude, though, right?
Yeah, Shy is great.
But I was giving it to Sha. And we was in the private gym there, whatever, and his boys were like, he switched and then want to start barking at his boys. Now, see, I caught that, and I'm like, that's where the politics of our business are crazy. So I'm like, so nigga, are you gonna switch and then start yelling at them? I'm standing at the top of the key. I was like, get your ass back over here.
Get some more
I wasn't done. And so to this day, the cats that were in that gym would be like, yo, no. It went down. And I'm like, look, I'm not the greatest player in the world. I'm not saying that. I've been in games with Penny and whatever in Memphis where I was the shortest player on the court. And I remember this game in particular. And everybody was just 6'5", 6'6", and flying. And they're playing by 1s and 2s to 11. So if you get scored on twice, you the ass. Right? I mean, I've gotten a chance to play with the highest level of competition where I know how to handle myself on the court. So I'm never really going to be an embarrassment.
Right.
That's really my level of play. You know what I'm saying? So when I see cats like that, though, I'm like, dog, seriously, I hope your cardio is nice before you want to talk like that.
Side note, crazy breaking news. Tyler Skaggs just died.
Are you kidding?
Wow.
The Angels have a problem with this, huh?
Angels announced pitcher Tyler Skaggs has passed away at the age of 27.
Wow.
Oh, man.
From what?
He just got married. Oh, man. Oh, man.
Wow.
Rest in peace. The Angels put out a statement 16 minutes ago. It said, it is with great sorrow that we report Tyler Skaggs passed away earlier today in Texas. Tyler has and always will be an important part of the Angels family. Our thoughts and prayers are with his wife, Carly, and his entire family during this devastating time. Wow.
This is unbelievable because Nick Adenhart died something similar to this, right?
Now, I don't know how he passed.
I'm just talking about at this early age out of the clear blue sky. You know, usually you don't hear about
when that happens, that seems to be some type of genetic condition generally.
And with Nick Adenhart, it was an accident.
It was a car accident.
It was a car accident. It was drunk driving. Okay. He got smashed in a car. It was a terrible scenario. Oh, man.
Wow. Details are scarce right now, but here's what.
Wow.
You know, you just ended the podcast with that.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, your story was fantastic. But,
listen, hey, life happens, man.
Life is happening.
Life is happening.
Wow.
In real time.
I hate to hear that.
Yeah, I hate to hear that too. And we're talking about, that's a trip that's what we're talking about. We were just going to move into baseball, as a matter of fact, because this is going to be a very heavy thing that you're going to hear a lot about. But come July 9th is the All-Star game, and the All-Star game, the players have been announced, which is great because there's a lot of young guys and new guys. And I mean, the presumptive rookie of the year is playing out in New York, and the guy is phenomenal. The kid Pete Alonso, and him and Jeff McNeil are on a tear. They're on the scene. You want to go through? You look like it's over. You look like you can't focus on it right now.
I can focus on it. I was just trying to find out.
Omar has the greatest moment in celebrity all-star game.
Sure does.
History.
Did you play in that game?
No, I didn't. I was very much at home, yelling at my screen, laughing. Like that is.
It's almost the equivalent of what you were just talking about.
Well, it's happened to me my whole life.
Well, this kid just thought that he was going to run him over for
totally. But it's crazy.
Actor thing.
This is how the actor thing is.
This actor thing is terrible.
And the disrespect for me was even before when I actually was an athlete. The disrespect, it never bothered me because I've always been able to use it to my favor.
Exactly. Same thing.
People who have ever played sports with me know. But I know exactly what you're saying. I know exactly.
So because of it, I'm so perceptive.
I'm so perceptive of other people. Oh, I can see it. I can see it.
If I see 5 white boys walk into the gym together that want to play together, they can shoot.
They can run.
Anyone who's not interested in playing defense, step aside.
Because they get wet.
Okay, they can shoot.
They know each other.
They brought no color in here, and they said we have necks.
Right.
Got it?
Oh, you guys, what you need for it? No, we'll wait till after that. We're gonna run with hour 5. Our whole 5.
Like I'm perceptive, and to this day, like the New York guys, especially, they love to dribble the air out the ball. Oh, that's their whole thing. They want to break the air. They want the ball to go flat, making you try to turn an ankle. Oh my God,
that's all they want.
They don't
even care about putting the ball in the hole. They want to go crazy.
Once they get you to
off
lean,
balance,
bobble, whatever, God forbid, fall, they're not even interested in making the bucket anymore. So here I come
they
out.
Just want everybody to go crazy. Oh!
With my California mid-range game, and it's like it takes.
You at the elbow.
Exactly. It takes 3 or 4 buckets before they're like, "Hey man, who gonna stop him?"
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. I had it before. I played with these young kids that were all high schoolers. That were all my friend coaches a high school like a prep team. That's like the kids that are the kids. So he had me come out to play with him because they had a big guy. He was like 6'8", and he was like, "Man, tighten this kid up. He's not tough. I want you to bruise him a little bit." So I went out there, and I remember the first 3 possessions I put up on him. And first 2 possessions were just jumpers. He like stepped back. I was like, oh, first was a bank. Second was just a jumper. Yeah. Mid-range work, elbow work, stuff like that. And it was funny because then the next possession, he was like, no, he can play. Step up. It was a trip because the assumption off the top, even after the first 2 jumpers was, oh, he can't play.
It's the disrespect.
The disrespect is hard. I was like, yeah, all right.
I just have a different personality, and we all come from unique backgrounds that make us who we are. That because I've been so underestimated my entire life, I never underestimate another man.
Right.
But you have to come from that space.
Yeah, that's it.
And the other thing is, but if you've always been coddled and you've always been that man on campus, then you don't come with.
It's
that
like
usually.
It's like Pat Beverly is crazy, right? Like he's crazy, but it's the crazy in him that has driven him to 3 years, $40 million with the Clippers. And so I know you're going to get that level of motor every day out of him.
Every time out.
When he even matched up with Lonzo, I knew what was coming for Lonzo. Mm-hmm. Lonzo didn't know what was coming for Lonzo.
Lonzo didn't know. He put them clamps on him.
You see what I'm saying? It was like they might as well have been playing in that first game, Lakers versus Clippers in Lonzo's debut, for actual food. Like one of you will not be getting dinner for the next 2 days who loses this game. That's the seriousness with which Patrick Beverly
he let him know you wouldn't get me.
Yeah, approached that matchup. Now, I think he crosses the line and he does it on purpose and he plays the flop game and he tries to get in your head and he tries to do the I don't know what I'm doing game with the refs and whatever. And everything he did with Durant was just absolutely silly. And I wish that the modern ref would take more control of it so that you don't have to throw people out of a game for stupid reasons. But when I see a guy like that, there's something in me that I can kind of identify with the way he's approaching the game.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I know I can't always neutralize it because sometimes in a park situation, I got to just actually leave.
Yeah. You're talking to the wrong guy. One of the things before my leg went crooked, one of the things that slowed me down on playing at the park and rec sports in general was I actually got in fights
with one of those. There it is. One of them Pat Bevs. One of them amateur Pat Bevs. Pat's a pro.
Yeah. Well, and this guy wasn't as good as Pat.
Of course.
And then it turned into something else, and we ended up getting in a fight. I ended up getting the guy tried to sue me.
Yeah.
And there's always the ulterior motive. So we'll cover the All-Star game. No, let's cover the All-Star game. game on the next episode because it still won't have happened. The All-Star game isn't until the 9th. But
this was an NBA episode.
yeah.
Okay.
But I'm with the National League, champ.
I'm with the American League, child. They got smoke for you.
Ooh, child. The only smoke that they got is I see Zach Greinke on our team.
How
I
come
don't
Justin
appreciate
Turner didn't
that.
make it this year?
It's garbage
He hasn't
right now.
been. He hasn't been playing well.
He's not garbage, but he's not. He's not
He
playing
hasn't
well.
turned. He hasn't.
Yo, we got to work on your verbiage. You're
man,
calling people trash, and garbage, and finished, and everything.
Man.
I apologize for my friend Terry over here, dog. He's
a bit excessive.
He's a bit, yeah.
Hyperbole.
It's not hyperbole at all. no.
Man.
Go look up hyperbole.
You have rear view mirrors on those glasses of yours?
No, because it's burning behind you. It's burnt. No. But what I do want to cover is the boxing that we didn't cover. I want to cover that just quickly over the next 5 minutes. We had a lot of boxing action over the past week and a half, folks. Both Charlo brothers fought, and one was more impressive than the other. Jermell Charlo, who I believe is the 54 Charlo, right? Jermel's the one that beat up Sujo?
Kodo.
Was that his last name? Kodo?
Uh-huh.
Was it Kodo? You sure about that? Coda. Mm-hmm. And it was great work for a filler opponent.
Right.
And he did what he was supposed to do.
Got him out of there.
He got him out of there, and it was supposed to be
Great athlete.
Yeah. And it was supposed to be the guy that he lost his belt to, Harrison, and he didn't. Harrison got hurt, so he wasn't able to fight him.
I think he got smoked for Harrison.
I think he does too, because I actually like his mentality, and I like Derek.
Yeah.
Derek is going to make whatever adjustments need to be made with his guy to make it work. Now, bigger Charlo, I was less impressed with against Adams. Adams came to fight, and wasn't that it was, and I don't want it to sound like I'm down in Charlo.
Yeah.
Because that's a tough fight. That guy was
small and a problem. He stayed in him. He never let him get it fully extended.
And he could take a punch.
When he could take a punch, and he kept him off balance and going backwards.
Yeah. You good over there, Charles?
No, I'm loving the commentary.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a listener now.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So it ended up going the distance, and it was a fight. When you saw the matchup, because Adams took the fight, and he's a full division. Normally, he's a full division lower than Big Charlo.
5'8".
And he's 5'8". He's normally coming in at 154, but they fought at 160. And, it looked like it was going to be a rout, and the guy was there to fight. He clearly won the fight. He won every round. I think maybe lost one round on my card, maybe one. But he couldn't get him out of there. But what I will say is that was a great fight for him to get rounds in.
Yes.
And honestly, the WBC has mandated and made a new belt for Canelo, which is not helping the league at all. I'm a big fan of Mauricio Suleiman, but he's playing games with this.
This is playing games.
Because now Canelo has been elevated to something called the franchise champion.
The what?
Exactly.
Hello.
He's no longer the middleweight champion.
Is that brought to you by Chipotle? What?
Tecate. He's no longer the middleweight champ. He's the franchise champ, which means that he can pursue other titles in other divisions without penalty, without mandatory fights. Basically, they're saying
they give him carte blanche to jump to
pick and choose who he doesn't want to fight.
Yes.
Because ultimately, he's got an 11-fight deal for $365 million that is guaranteed.
There it is.
That then in turn, you're going to have to knock Canelo out to get a decision against him.
Yeah,
it's the only thing. And
I
he
said
is hard to knock out.
He is hard to knock out.
And so with that, they've elevated this Charlo brother that fights out of Houston. He's been elevated to full middleweight champ. Basically to say that Charlo, you don't have to worry about fighting Canelo because we're going to make sure this fight does not happen, at least not for a while.
And Charlo said that he wants his belt still.
Exactly. He said, I want the franchise belt then.
So whatever belt you give him, I'm coming for it.
Smoke.
And I don't blame him.
I mean, but look, again, the fight game, one of the things that I notice about it is, unfortunately, the belts don't matter anymore. They're part of
the credibility is just
they're part of the pomp and pageantry,
and that's because there's so many belts.
Yeah, but it was like I always remember George Foreman saying, they call it prize fighting for a reason. If there ain't no prize, you don't fight.
Yeah,
and that's how people get hurt. You get brain damage.
That's how you mess around and get brain damage.
Like he literally went on a whole soliloquy about it, and with that level of thinking. Whoever's name generates the most money now becomes the A side in all of these matters. And it's now.
And it hurts the sport.
It hurts the sport. Because now it means.
It's cannibalizing.
Now it means you may not be judged fairly.
We know that.
You know that. Yeah. Now it means contractually you got all these things in here that tip it to one side. I get Floyd.
Yeah. And honestly, we talk about this all the time. It's not a fair fight if you actually contractually have things like the stipulation of the size of the ring, the gloves, the pain medication, the this, the that,
the ref, everything,
the whole song and dance. It's not,
we just got enlightened to a whole thing about the refs recently, and which is unbelievable.
Please enlighten me.
Well, basically, with the refs, you can pick a specific ref who's going to break up the fight in particular parts of the fight in a specific kind of way.
Certain refs are going to not let you fight inside versus other refs who are going to let you fight inside.
And then when they break
some refs are going to call low blows on the belt, where other refs are actually going to look for. It's
like I said, big data,
big business,
big data is changing what we are watching. We think we're watching the same thing.
And we're not.
But we're not.
I don't think we're watching the same thing.
It's GMO'd. Because it's like when you eat some food that you think is food, and then you come to find this was actually wood.
Yes.
They can
got diarrhea.
Or cancer.
Right.
They can trick my taste buds, but they can't trick my body.
Right.
Woo.
That's the thing. And this is the same thing that we're talking about with the fights. So Charlo said, I want the franchise belt or whatever else you got. Jamal, I like Jamal and I like Jamel. I like all the Houston fighters. I like Regis, even though he's from New Orleans, but because of the hurricane and all that, they all train out of Houston. I like all them boys. Now, Demetrius Andrade, he beat Magic Sulecki, but it was totally unimpressive. I'm not mad at him trying to get his bread by calling out the bigger name fighters. But honestly, if I was Canelo and I wanted to play games, go ahead and go knock him out real quick.
I think he would give him smoke, champ.
I think Canelo has all the smoke for Demetrius.
Yeah, I do too.
He
doesn't sit down on his punches. Yeah. He's flopping around. When you watch his footwork, he crosses his legs.
He crosses his legs. You get knocked out messing around with that.
That's a recipe. That's a recipe for a fade right there, bro.
See, 1 part cross foot, 2 parts of lowered hands.
I was looking at him thinking myself.
Oh, good. Here it is. I found the recipe.
I was looking at him thinking to myself, this dude is crossing his legs.
I was watching it.
Like, wow, this is unacceptable.
I was not impressed.
He's a professional fighter.
I was not impressed with his work.
Are you kidding?
And I'm not gonna hang out there long with him.
Yeah.
I was not impressed. You
turned it off.
He's got a belt. I couldn't even get past the 7th or 8th. What am I doing? This is a waste. I went to the rap party instead. Anyways, Joseph Parker's fight before that fight was interesting though.
Yes.
And in the sense that the guy that he fought, Lepai, oh my God,
Lepai, man. Dude can take some punches.
Joseph Parker unloaded on this dude.
Joe Parker is
that guy definitely has brain damage.
CTE.
Joseph Parker is 240 pounds, a 240-pound Samoan. How about that?
That can move.
That can dance.
That has thunder, nice jab. He's fundamentally sound.
And he beat the crap out of this other brother, man. And another Samoan. An Australian cat. And they had to stop the fight in the 10th, but the guy was still standing on his feet. Like, wanting more punishment.
I always feel bad about those kind of guys.
Me too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And you could see it was a badge of honor for him to continue.
Yeah. Because that's the mentality.
Yeah.
It's like
Nose busted.
It's like I'll die in
purpose.
here.
Yeah,
but let me tell you something. And when you mess around with the big guys, you get brain damage like that with the little guys. You mess around with the big guys like that, it's another recipe for a late life nightmare.
But let me just point out as well is that Anthony Joshua beat Joseph Parker. And Joseph Parker is a good fighter. And what they don't give Anthony Joshua credit for is the caliber of fighter that he has fought.
Yeah, and now everybody talks about Anthony Joshua like he was a never was, like the whole thing was false, like the guys that we watched him knock out
and dominate.
The thing that I saw in Anthony Joshua is exactly what we've been sitting here talking about. I don't see a killer in him that doesn't make the mistake of sizing up the opponent incorrectly.
That was in that fight.
Yeah.
But this is exactly, you're making our point. In that fight, you're 100% right. He saw the guy, and he saw me come on the basketball court and was like, you know what? I'm going to use it. Ball.
Yeah.
And that was that.
You know?
And I had work for it. And that was the issue. Whereas in every other fight that we've seen from Anthony Joshua, I've never seen that.
Right. And
sorry, real quick, just in case you didn't know, what the rumor had it was he took his talents to South Beach for the training camp.
There it is.
And decided for 8 weeks to hang out in South Beach at Tootsie's and 11 and blah, 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 blah.
Listen, the thing about being on top in, I think, any area of life, you work your tail off to get there.
Right.
Then when you finally get there, you want to celebrate.
Right.
You want to enjoy the spoils. And
Yes.
there are very few.
And it's not the time.
And it's not. And now more than ever, you are the
Now more
hunted.
than ever, you are the hunted. It is not the time.
So it's a
Until
psychological.
you finish.
It's a psychological flip, and it's weird because it's like
He's a young man, too.
He's a young man.
I'll even look at somebody like Kobe Bryant, and I am fascinated with what degree he has been able to turn off his zeal for the game. Turn it off like a light switch.
Yeah.
Turn it off like Johnny Carson just being like, and I'm out of here, folks.
That's a great discipline.
Like, it's an interesting difference. So you mean to tell me when you had the world, like, everywhere you go, you are the man. You walk into the room. His attitude is, we got to get out of here early because I got to train at 5 a.m. You were able to maintain that discipline all those years.
Come on, man.
And now you ready for pasta? Wow.
How about that?
And you can't be mad at him.
No.
It's
Go gain 100 pounds.
Yeah, like-
it's like Prince.
Like, I just-
it's like Prince not seen.
Yes.
I admire it. I just kind of went through something that's a complete tangent, and I had like a good dinner with my man over here.
Yep.
Amazing dinner. I don't think I'll ever forget.
It was a good time.
Because just mentally, I know that I was just like overcoming something, and I had to tell myself, I was like, hey, it's Sunday, it's Monday now, like.
Yeah.
Enough of this celebrating.
Time to move on.
Even my girl tried to get me to go to Vegas, and I just symbolically, I was like, no, I don't want to do that because that's going to make me drink all weekend and continue this little celebration into next week. And I'm like, nah, I got to get it. Like, June and July need to be a lot more productive than it has been, and it will be. But it's a mentality.
Right.
And I can see it in certain athletes. I just literally can look in their eyes. I can look in their body language. I can see how much they want it, whether or not they realize that adulation is fragile.
Man,
Yeah.
super fragile.
And this is exactly what happened to him. So
This is what happened to him.
Yeah. So now that he's lost his belts, now he's really looking. It looks like he's soul searching now. And you see,
And we're going to find out when he gets back in the ring.
When he gets back in the ring, because everybody is saying, well, Ruiz is going to do the same thing. If the Anthony Joshua comes out that we've seen in the past, you'll get the same result. He'll.
I saw technical problems with that fight.
Yes,
no
for sure.
question. He didn't even.
That wasn't a Mike Tyson situation where he was just drugged up or too much partying or whatever. I think it was a combination of South Beak and technicality.
There was a need to grow that hadn't been serviced.
Yeah,
and part of that had to do with being on top for a long period of time where people avoid you. And this is also a problem that happens with the boxing stables. Then we had Cal Yafai, who's somebody I follow on Instagram. He's a British flyweight, and he got busy in a lopsided fight. And now I'm interested to see if Tom Loeffler puts together another one of the Superflies, because he's somebody who actually would have work for the Thai homie, potentially.
You think, but Thai homie's mind's messed up.
His mind has been messed up since he got messed up with his girl.
Yeah, his girl messed up his mind. He hasn't been the same.
Hasn't been the same. Just want to keep moving. Maybe the best fight that I saw over the past couple of weeks was the Comey Beltran fight. Did you watch that Wade Beltran fight?
I think I did.
It was really good. The African cat from Ghana.
Yeah.
And the thing was, he knocked Ray down 2 times in the first round. And Ray is, I won't call him a journeyman, but he's at this phase of his career, he's on the downslope of his career. He was a champ, but he still knows how to fight. He got dropped twice early in the fight, and the kid looked like he was just going to bulldoze him. And the kid punched himself out, and Ray started to go to work. And it was 2 rounds worth of the kid trying to get his win back. Yeah. And then the kid got his win back. And he actually got hit. Comey got hit a few times. And Ray tightened him up, but then the youth and the athletic domination took over. It turned out to be a good fight. I think he stopped Ray in the 9th. I think something like that. But this kid Comey is somebody to watch at lightweight.
Send me a link.
Yeah, I will.
I want to watch it.
It was on ESPN.
And we didn't speak on that Rigondeaux either, did we?
We did not speak on Guillermo Rigondeaux.
Which we shouldn't really, though.
It was bizarre.
Yeah.
Because this is his first time that I've seen him back since fighting Lomachenko. I think he fought one time after that. And he decided to be a bruiser at 122 instead of his normal slick Cuban style. And man, that dude beat the crap out of him.
He sure did.
He caught a lot of punishment.
I mean, too much.
Too much punishment. He might
CTE.
It's running loose.
We back at square one. Brain damage.
Why, child? Why? It's running wild. And so, we got fights to look forward to. The next big fight, the one I would like to go to, is that Manny Pacquiao Keith Thurman fight. I don't know. I don't want to see that fight, but I do want to see that fight. Anywho, we're way over time, folks. We got to keep it moving. We're going to get you
special
into the
day, though.
soon.
There was a special day.
Thank you to our special guest, Jaleel White, coming and blessing us with his expertise on NBA free agency and pearls and jewels from the wisdom of life. Would you have something to say?
Yeah, we have Bobby Bonilla Day today.
I was saying about ending up. It is today is July 1st. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is Bobby Bonilla Day. This is the day that a check is delivered to former Mets player and MLB, great MLB player,
All-Star.
Bobby Bonilla, MLB All-Star. Probably played in the league for about 15 years.
Yeah.
And Bobby Bonilla signed arguably the greatest contract in sports history in the sense that he allowed the Mets to defer his money so that Bobby Bonilla hasn't played in a major league game since 2003, I do believe it is.
Amazing.
Bobby gets a check for 1.3.
1.19.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Uh-huh.
And every year it's 8% interest because Bobby was smart enough to say, you know what? I will take that money for the next 30 years like I won the Publishers Clearinghouse. Then it's not like Bobby was hurt.
Paid up until 2035.
2035. And it's not like Bobby was hurt before. Bobby had big contracts.
You know the best part about that kind of dough dispensed that way is that over the course of your lifetime, you don't regret any act of kindness that you've ever done.
100%.
You don't regret any act of kindness. You don't regret any generosity. You don't regret any of it. You know what you regret? Who you did it for. So getting money like that on such a schedule, it allows you to be able to grow as a person unencumbered,
to catch up.
Unencumbered by financial mistakes because of
Made in the past.
Made in the past.
Yep.
And that is just, I mean, literally, Bobby, I want you to call me on every day. I got to get
Every
that.
July 1st.
I got to find somebody
to be a Jaleel White day.
I mean, I have a version of that. It's just the check's not that, but
Yeah, exactly.
but I do live a version of that. I do live a version of that.
I heard that. Yeah, it is Bobby Bonilla Day. But we have a lot. I actually have a whole list of stuff I want to cover, but 140, we're really pushing it. But we'll get another one back, John.
Okay,
we'll get
John.
another one back in.
You got smoke for me.
the next, not even next week, later this week, child. So then we're going to leave you with an African proverb. And that African proverb is, the wise create proverbs for fools to learn, not to repeat. Remember that we're all in this thing together, folks. Anything can happen at any moment. We just had a young man in the prime of his life taken from the world. So live it up, take care of one another, and spread the love. I'm your host, Omar Miller, and this is the O-ZONE.
O-ZONE.
I'm just living the dream. I'm in love with the lights. This is not just a game. This here is my life.